Welcome to Liposomal Academy, to the summer school of epigenetic reprogramming. As usual, our legal disclaimer. None of the information provided in this presentation represents a therapeutic regimen for your disease or condition. Please advise your health professionals for the management of your disease or conditions. In the summer school of epigenetic reprogramming, we will briefly discuss the fact that we are getting older. We will try to take a look at epigenetic reprogramming and also discuss certain nutraceuticals which might have a potential effect on epigenetic reprogramming. In Volume 1, we will just briefly remember the fact that we are getting older, and we will try to understand the fundamentals of epigenetic reprogramming. From the graph, which was published by the University of California, Berkeley, we can see that the probability of a newborn in France in reaching older ages has increased dramatically. Particularly, millennials who are born in 2019 have got a remarkable chance to reach ages over 80 and even over 90. But why is this important? Why do we bother so much about getting older? The fact is, age-related diseases trend to increase dramatically after the age of 60. We can see that arthritis or heart conditions accelerate when we pass the age of 60. And particularly those who are 80, we can see that the prevalence of arthritis or heart conditions is almost 50%, meaning that 1 out of 2 of the older community will suffer from arthritis or heart conditions. But how can we prevent age-related diseases? The discovery of the cellular clock had led scientists to have the ability to turn back our cellular time with a technique called epigenetic reprogramming. This technique restores cells to a more useful status so that can maintain their healthy state for a prolonged time. But in order to understand how this works, we have to look at epigenetics. To understand epigenetics, we have to remember that not long ago, maybe 2 decades ago, we thought that all living beings were doomed with their genetic material. But if this was the case, how can we explain that this caterpillar and this butterfly has got the exact same genetic material? How can this living creature can turn into this beautiful flying butterfly? The answer is hidden in epigenetic modifications. But how does this work? We know that our genetic material is encoded in our DNA, which is again wrapped up in our chromosomes. But now we know that we have got a control mechanism who's watching the expression of our genetic materials. And these control molecules are called Histone Tails. We can imagine these histone molecules like locks on certain genes. If the histone tail is tightly wrapped up, we see that the DNA is inaccessible and the gene is inactive. But if we can open this histone tail, the DNA and the gene becomes active again. In certain conditions, the activation of certain genetic materials can prevent the premature aging of our cells, which eventually have got a health endpoint on certain age-related diseases. Thank you for listening to Epigenetic Reprogramming Volume 1, and I hope you will enjoy the following episodes where we will discuss certain nutraceuticals which might have got activity on epigenetic reprogramming. Bye-bye.